from the relationship standpoint, women gonna be more prone to be emotional about.
Sometimes.
No, more prone. Most likely they're gonna be more prone to be emotional.
9.9.
Than we are. We're not finna just be on some emotion.
It's some TDs out there.
I could go for that.
That's gonna be so emotional. If I can't hug you, nobody can hug you.
Shit, we made this a great night. Look, country boy, but I talk like them city niggas. I might just book her ass a flight just to say I did it. I might just fuck her ass tonight just to say I hit it. I'm probably faded off of shh and 3 cups of liquor. I'm seeing double her, probably fat. She really got a sister. You call it love, I call it fucking with you. I mix designer with the drugs, it got me talking different. This on my hammer and that pot had junkies lined to get it. I'm speeding off these tinted windows, gotta hide in it. I'm trying to take you out the city, not around the city. She cute as
Relearn someone.
Uh-oh.
Do tell.
So who
Do
most
tell.
what we know from the relationship standpoint, women gonna be more prone to be emotional about.
Sometimes.
No, more prone. Most likely they're gonna be more prone to be emotional.
9.9.
Than we are. We're not finna just be on some emotion.
It's some TDs out there.
I could go for that.
That's gonna be so emotional. If I can't hug you, nobody can hug you.
Yeah.
Boy, they emotional like a mug.
Yeah. But I believe that the women still outnumber that little amount
It's
of
2
people.
million
That's like
women.
that.
It's 2 million more women than men. So this definitely gonna be
speaking
majority. It's gonna be majority. I said that's why I said some.
Yeah, it's gonna be some cat people like that think like that. But my thing, I'm just saying, like, you got to be able to be held accountable, and I have to be able to accept correction.
Right.
Because personally, I get on the path of thinking I'm doing something right, and don't care what nobody says, and I just be pushing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm thinking I'm right. So now, if you can't pull me and say, "Hey, man, J. Root, bro, you tripping? Look, you can't see this. Because if you see this, you wouldn't do it like this." If it makes sense to me, I can accept correction. I can accept straightening. I can accept accountability. I can argue my claim. So whatever I'm doing, I can argue me. I can stand for me. You know what I'm saying? But that don't mean that I can't be straightened.
And I'm not just doing it your way, because that's what that's the only way you see it. And it could be 2-3 different ways to do it. Yeah, I'm not going to just do it your way because you only arguing your way. But my thing is, if we talking about unlearning and learning, right? Give me an example of unlearning something.
Like, for example, with our history. There's so much in our history that
But I'm specifically talking about with people.
Oh, with people.
Yeah, with people.
Okay.
How would I unlearn something? Like, say,
It's gonna be hard to unlearn something with people. Like, it's just about accepting a new person, like the new person that's
what I was saying. That's why I asked you that.
That's how you unlearn it and relearn it.
Yeah.
So as you saying, the new person.
You spend time with them.
Okay.
Or you when you communicate with them, as y'all have dinners, you'll see, like, through their actions, like, damn, bro, he ain't on that shit, like, whatever negative or foul that they used to be on. You'll be like, damn, bro, I ain't even on that shit. Okay. See how, you'll see him, like you see in friends, family, kids, you see improvement in certain areas. So when you see that, you just know you ain't on no BS.
So what's one thing you need to see to say, okay, I trust you? If we talking about unlearning and then relearning, right? So that means you saying we're going to accept him. He ain't on this bullshit no more. He used to be on bullshit. Now he ain't on no bullshit. So what's that one thing y'all would need to see to say, okay, it's solidified. I trust you now.
It ain't no one thing to me.
No, I'm just asking, what's one thing you could just pinpoint to say, okay, yeah, I trust.
It ain't just no one thing.
I'm not saying it's only one thing. I'm saying what would come to mind for you. Like, I'm gonna give you an example. Say I'm dealing with a person and I see that this person is being accountable every time some come up. I ain't tripping on you making mistakes. I'm looking at when you do make mistakes, you saying, I'm accountable, you holding yourself accountable for that mistake. That would be one thing I would look at and say, okay, I can trust this person. If that makes sense, I'm giving a good example. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm not saying
That's
it's just
pretty much
one thing.
What I said earlier about, being able to accept the accountability and, be held accountable. You know what I'm saying? Or holding yourself accountable. I would do that. I don't have a complex toward that. You know what I'm saying? But what I do want to get to is, when you get to it, is the history.
The history?
Yeah, unlearning the history. Because the black man in America, we got some things we got to fix inside our culture. So it's some things that we've been taught about history. And from what I've been seeing from talking to our youth, bro, is our history in their mind consists of Dr. Martin Luther King and
Malcolm X.
What they know about Malcolm X is just because they say he rivaled Dr. King. Yes. So that's the only reason you really get a little bit of Malcolm X in the mainstream curriculum that they teaching. And for me, history started in the household when it comes to our children. So if our children really not knowing history, there's two things going on for me. And that's either the parents ain't teaching or the parents don't know. The community ain't teaching or the community don't know a lot abroad. So the community that know is probably not teaching it, or it's so few people that care enough to learn the history, because the history going to give you a stance in the present. And it's going to allow you to see how you're going to walk into your future. So your past, present, and future, they all link together. But we have to unlearn what we've been taught. We have to unlearn the whole idea, like, I'm not going against the bus boycott. But I do understand what Malcolm X said when he said it would dignify you to have your own bus, more so than saying, hey, I'm not getting on the bus. Now, I understand the boycott. I'm going to hit you in the pockets. You see what I'm saying?
Like they're doing Target them today.
But that's not what they was they wasn't boycotting the hit in the pockets.
No, I'm just saying, okay, what would the boycott?
That shit was so dumb to me, bro. I swear to God. Bro, I swear to God, that shit was so fucking dumb to me.
Why?
They was boycotting because they just wanted to sit on the fucking front of the bus.
Right. And
that shit dumb as fuck to me.
It's dumb to me. That's why Malcolm X said it dignifies you to have your own bus.
They had their own buses back then.
Now, when it's saying they want to sit on the bus, you saying that we're going to hurt you economically so we can sit anywhere on the bus. Right. I don't totally agree with that. But what I'm saying is, that's why I'm saying you have to unlearn some of the history and let the history be taught to you from a perspective that's going to help us as a people move forward together. So that's not for me to point a finger at Dr. King or Malcolm X. I'm just using that because that's what's pushed the most. And it has to be unlearned.
Man,
and the only way you can really unlearn is if you do one thing. Go study and research yourself.
Research.
Because the more you research, the more you're going to say, hey, man, this don't make sense to me.
That whole
what they
movement,
told me don't make sense to me.
They hijacked the civil rights. The civil rights, when it originally was written up, was in South Carolina. And it was specifically for black kids at schools, not to be able to go to this white school. That shit was for black kids to have better books, better lunch meals, and all that. Just here, we don't want to go over here with y'all motherfuckers. We just don't want y'all taking away from what we got going on over here. So now you got the civil rights. They done hijacked the civil rights. Now it's for minorities and people of color. Now you done put white women in this shit.
You put everybody.
You done put everybody. That's why I say that whole civil rights movement was, to me, was the
hijack. I say it got hijacked.
It did. And it was dumb as fuck to me. Y'all trying to motherfucking put yourself over here when we already good over here. We got our own restaurants. We got our own stores. We got our own buses.
You got your own water fountain.
Why the fuck I want to come over here with you? For what? Fuck y'all. Y'all don't give a fuck about me. Fuck you.
So you think that's why they did Tulsa? Yeah.
It was plenty of Tulsas.
I'm saying you think that's why. Like once they seen all that going on, they said, "Boy, we gotta stop."
The economic boom.
They built lakes on some of them.
Mm-hmm.
They bombed some of them, and they just straight up burnt some of them down. You know what I'm saying? So,
but that was our fault too,
for not defending yours.
For not fucking defending yours, bro. We from Eville. What we was on?
Hold on,
You play with me, nigga? I'm going in.
I got to defend this.
Yeah,
the majority didn't, but it was a few that did.
Yeah.
Nah, the majority that didn't.
From my era, he was on that.
Hold on. In my opinion, though, but that from that era, in my opinion, the majority that didn't, them was the ones who really, really got controlled out of fear through religion.
In some aspects, I agree.
Through religion. Yeah. All that turn your cheek, obey your master. Bro, that shit was drilled in them so hard.
By who?
By their own slave masters.
No.
By black preachers.
Black preachers. The slave
by their own slave masters.
Them. They used the black preachers.
Exactly.
To tell them to do this and to do that.
But they the root of it.
Yeah. We got to unlearn that.
But listen, even with that's got to be.
But what I'm saying, they the root of it, but it worked through fear. The power of fear.
Yeah.
So the majority, now listen, with us, it was down there like you know how TWD came out? Niggas don't drink, let it lock the road. Couldn't go, we ain't with that shit no more. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So our era, yeah, we
was on that before Trick.
I know that.
T-shirts.
I know we was, but what I'm saying is he was part of our era, bro, just on another part of the map.
Yeah.
So if he was in Eville, he would have been wild and right with us. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. And I'm going to add this. Bro, I don't care what entity, what higher power, none of that I believe in. If a motherfucker bringing harm to me, I'm not waiting for anything to come. I'm about to handle this now. I ain't waiting on God to help get you off my ass. What I look like?
See,
man, I ain't with that shit.
You got it. All right, we're gonna look at Willie Lynch. So when you look at the Willie Lynch letter, the Willie Lynch there, and Willie Lynch, the statement is made that this can control these people for
300 years. Maybe that's what he said. 300.
Oh.
No, he said 300, and it was 2013. 2013 was supposed to be the 300th year.
So that means that this is something that's passed down genetically.
Right.
Like you could breed this down. I believe you could actually reconstruct your DNA.
Oh, you can.
So
you absolutely can.
The fear's being bred. So now the fear just being passed down. This outside of the preacher doing anything. This from terror. The terror that was afflicted upon people cause a fear. Because right now, if a woman is pregnant with a child, if she is constantly at fear, what energy is she passing to that baby?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So the baby in the womb, but she passing fear. And she not passing fear out of just because she's don't have a warrior spirit in her. Her warrior done been suppressed because what she saw done to her man, her protector. So the best way for her to protect the child, she gonna have is to keep him close.
And
you know what I'm saying?
And then gonna tell them just do what they say.
Do what they say, baby. Just chill. Now I'm gonna tell you. I read was this in Blood of My Eye?
Blood of My Eye was deep.
Okay. I think it was in Blood of My Eye. George Jackson made a statement. He say, black mothers, I understand your overall concern, this quote unquote, concern for your sons, your overall love and concern for your son and safety. But if your overall concern and protection for him is compromising his manhood, then you're wrong.
You're dead wrong.
you can't compromise his manhood. So off the rip, your child got to know that, hey man, I'm born, nigga, you born in war. I don't care what nobody else told you. I don't care nothing about what the hit. And when you go and do your own research, unlearn, and then you start researching so that you can learn some new, you can relearn and teach yourself.
Yeah.
You're going to see that you're born with a deck stacked against you.
I teach my sons that.
So, for example, deck stacked against me. I go to a corner store. You go to a corner store that's a whole nother nationality or nation of people running that store in your community. They might have to pay a tax to be in your community. That's about it. No money coming back to the community. But all that money that you go spend with them foreigners, that's from another nationality, from another race other than you, all that money leave you. And then tell you a problem. Want to look at you like you the problem, but you taking all my money and I'm allowing you to. So
That's
that
why
go
we
back to
gotta
what we
switch it up.
that go back to defense. But we were so that civil rights thing wanted so many people to come in, like it let a lot of people in. So when it was written that minorities, people of color, you know what I'm saying? So now so many people can benefit off of it, and now we want to be accepted. One thing you could do to use to manipulate anybody is prey on their desire to be accepted.
Yeah.
If you want to be accepted in anything, you could be.
Prime modern day example,
What's that?
the Louis Vuitton fan.
The Louis Vuitton fan.
Fans?
Yeah.
Yeah.
People who want to be accepted so bad.
Yeah.
That's symbolism. That
But-
get
but-
them.
But they finna go get the
Status.
Yeah, it's the symbolism. It makes them feel like they're part of something that's bigger than them.
False status.
Yeah,
a false status.
So I'm going to say this to the people out there. Louis Vuitton, that's a name. Everything that we mostly buy as a brand and use in this country is somebody's name. So there shouldn't be no name more important to you than your name.
and I'm
So,
glad you said
The
that.
value that's in anything
Glad-
to make your name something. Your name can have you worth millions, billions of dollars if you care about your name.
And that's why we gotta unlearn
The
and
fuck?
relearn that. We ain't been the teaching had fell off
What about
somewhere.
your name?
We had a different upbringing, bro. We grew
But still the teaching fell off
No.
somewhere, and we part of where it fell off at.
Yeah.
I'm gonna push back on that. And you said something that brought up idea when you were saying that the unlearning and the learning starts at home.
Yeah.
And I fully agree with that. But my question would be, what as black people, right? What would you say is urgent and what would you say is important as far as unlearning and relearning? Would it be your family history or black history?
Both. Black history.
Black history. So your family history would come second to black history.
Yeah, because it's a lot of stuff that happened outside your family can't do but so much.
No,
Because the reason I'm saying this, because your family history is a part of black history. So, and it can only hold so much. The black history,
Want to tell
like
it out.
going back, the black struggle. So, only reason I'm using the word black to describe us,
because that's what they identify us as.
You're right.
Yeah.
But I don't believe in that this is black.
It's not.
Is because it's not. So, but the so-called black man and woman in America has been conditioned. That's why I use Willie Lynch. We have been conditioned to exclude ourselves out of everything that matters.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So now, when people come along teaching and saying, "Hey, no, we're gonna get a part of what matters, but what we're gonna do is take advantage of ours first." When we take advantage of what's ours first, then we can go and we can demand certain things from the standpoint of saying, "This what I bring to the table. If you don't want it, we cool anyway." You know what I'm saying? But I just seen the way that we could get a little more money together. We can get a little more wealth together if you wanted to. If you don't, then screw you. We ain't got to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? But so we've been conditioned like that. Like we done beat ourselves into the condition, and we done been breeding and perpetuating a certain thought process. Our era left. Well, we were like the final era. Like that did certain
Era or generation?
I'm gonna say era because when we look at the mothers and the fathers of the children of the YNs and the children, the young women that's out in the world today in 2025, so that's certain they are in our generation,
But not our era.
but not our era.
Okay, I got you.
And our era, we did certain things, like we were speaking a certain way. We had people that was giving us codes, people that was teaching us, hey man, there's rules out here. This is how you got to operate if you're gonna be out here. If you ain't gonna operate like this, you can't
Get your ass out of here.
Yeah.
go. You know what I'm saying? Go somewhere else. You can't make the hood hot. You can't do nothing. Because the whole goal was to bring money. You can't, it was so things we was taught. After us, our era, which would have put like our big brothers and big homies and things that they gave us information, we didn't pass it along. So now we look at these mothers, we passed on bits and tidbits, but we wasn't as concentrated as the people was before us that force-fed us. Because in a lot of ways, we were force-fed information.
See,
We were force-fed knowledge.
that I'm guilty of.
We stopped force-feeding because we said, not us, but I'm looking at, you could go look at a lot of these parents, they stopped force-feeding their children. I'm not going to push that on them. I'm not going to push that. I'm not going to make them do this. They going to have an option. They could do this and they can do that. You know what I'm saying? And giving them all them damn options.
You done became a short cook.
Right.
They get to tell you what they want to eat and how they want.
Exactly.
But you know what I feel like?
And
one
I ain't saying
reason-
there's something wrong with giving them options. I'm saying that you're giving too many.
The only option a child should have is to do what the fuck you say do. That's it.
I would agree.
That's
Because
it.
But I feel like the reason that it wasn't passed down from us to them, because majority of us got caught up in certain situations was up the road, and the ones who wasn't, like myself, up the road, we don't moved on trying to raise our families, and this part of the unlearning and relearning too far as with how I'm thinking I'm doing something, good, positive, like let me get my family out the hood. You know what I'm saying? But really, hindsight, I wish we would have stayed in the hood and just helped rebuild the hood.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like people like me who was home, who could have been passing stuff down. I'm on some, man, let me get the hell away from this and bring my mind
But
up.
why you probably started running though? Because a lot of the people that would have been there to help have defense
Was gone.
was gone.
Was gone, bro. For real.
So now we got to go back a little farther than from not further, but we take the not further, but I'm gonna just go. We got to inculcate the war on drugs.
Yeah.
So the war on drugs, we know the war on drugs affected our community horribly. I mean, it affected our community. It tore it apart. And the war on drugs, if you look at the prison boom, like the numbers, like the state of Florida probably had 20 to 30,000 people in prison before before the war on drugs was created.
Yeah.
Once the war on drugs was in effect, the numbers just shot up drastically. So now, Department of Correction was created like 1868, like a few years after the Emancipation Proclamation. The Department of Correction was created. From that time to like 1980, you only had like 20 to 30,000 people in the state of Florida prison.
Yeah,
maybe 40.
Yeah. And they adopted that shit.
But then it just jumped. By the time the 90s and 2000, you had 70, 80, 100,000 people
Dang.
incarcerated. This right after the war on drugs, which created a prison boom.
And then they
And
came
that's
out.
the male It snatched the father. It snatched masculinity
Out of the home.
Well, he was already snatched out the home.
No, but that cleaned house.
What that did was
That cleaned house. Yeah, that cleaned house.
They took his ass out the house in the 60s with that
Government
what
assistance.
Lyndon B. Johnson came up with the something act. What the fuck was that called?
Google it.
Oh, what was it?
Google it. Google.
You got a glitch.
Yeah, I got a glitch.
Google it. Google.
The Fair Act. And that's when they came up with, because they always had welfare.
It gotta be Fair something act. It can't really be Fair Act.
Well, they can figure that shit out. Because they always had welfare. But when they was giving it to the white woman at the farm and all that, it was called assistance. And the white husband ain't have to leave the goddamn farm.
Mm-hmm.
But when they went to doing it with blacks, they made you have to put the man out.
Yeah.
The war on drugs took his ass out the community. Well, he ain't gonna be coming through the back door.
But right,
You see what I'm saying?
the war on drugs got, and then what that's the 10-20 life.
No, 10-20 life came.
That's all part of the.
That's what I'm saying. The war on drugs came first.
Yeah.
And then after so many got swooped on that, now it's okay. Y'all got all these guns over here.
The violence.
Now we finna hit you with the 10-20 life.
Got something to protect. So what caused violence? If you're in the drug, if you're dealing with drugs, violence gonna come because you got something to protect. Everybody ain't gonna be a drug dealer. Some people gonna be an opposer, might be a robber.
Yeah.
So now you got something to protect. So the clashing, and then you got territorial wars. So clashing gonna happen. So through the clashing, you say, okay, now let's create this in Florida, 10-20 light. So if you use a gun, you're done, basically.
Out of here.
You know what I'm saying? You're out of here.
97.
So everybody using guns. They're going through with the 10-20 light. But before 10-20 light, they had shifted to 85%. So now you got to sit in this prison system for 85% of your time.
It ain't just 85%. You actually doing more than that. It's 85% of each year. It ain't 85% of your sentence.
Right.
And that's what these youngsters need to know too.
Exactly. And so now the 85%, the 10-20 life, the father not in the home, father not in the community, mothers don't believe, the black woman not believing in her man. You know, that's come from women's rights, that movement there. But
the feminism act, and they follow white women and ain't have no motherfucking business.
But all that is a part, bro, the war on drugs.
Oh, they got something else.
The war on drugs is the top dog. But all that's up under the umbrella. This is the effect.
Okay, now let me rewind.
That's a cause and effect to me.
I'm a shift.
You know what I'm saying?
So how can we unlearn and relearn to uplift our community?
Perfect example. What you said with me and when me and Root went to prison, we learned the judicial system and really how that shit move. Mm-hmm. Then we learned how the prison system move. So what we would do is get all these little youngsters and teach them this how this justice system really moves. And if your ass go to prison, this how this really moves. So we had to unlearn and learn that. And now we're gonna teach your ass what to do. Me and Root had a talk one time. We was on the phone and I was telling him I might be wrong, but I want to assist these jits to where these crackers don't get no handcuffs on them. Period.
Yeah.
I don't want them crackers getting nail handcuff on you.
I agree.
So I would want to break it down and be like how you said, when we was out there, it was rules to one, your first goddamn $1,000, your motherfucking ass put it up. And that was for the goddamn bondsman. That first $1,000 is put up for the bondsman.
Yeah,
the next $3,000 you put to the lawyer for a retainer fee for if your ass get caught up. So if you get caught up, you can just call the bondsman, come get you, hit your lawyer up, and he already got that money. And whatever the case is, your ass, because we understood a felony was $750 to bond out.
Yeah.
We understood all these. If it's a certain type of felony, you're going to need more than that.
Yeah.
So we used to have all our shit put together. So, because we know you going to jail if your ass out here.
But
Going to jail.
I'm trying to. I'm trying to see how we could avoid from even having to teach them that portion. We need. I feel like we
Teach
got
them what part? Like,
nah. We not teach them, but not have to.
You can't. Cause they just then when we were young, we gonna do what the fuck we want to do, bro.
right.
You can't. You can't
and
all the
not all of
information.
them. Not all of them.
We saying we teach, we coach it. We not okay. I'm
I want to show them how I want to show them how you could, bro. You
Bro,
could
you
come
can show
together,
'em all
bro. You know
the
they just
world,
be
bro.
getting some cash now.
No, but listen, you can show them.
They
in the
could
world,
start
you
a
can show 'em
business,
in the
bro.
world,
They could get up out that.
But
shit,
it ain't
start
about
business
showing
and
them.
support the
A lot of
women.
them got a lot of good stuff going on for themselves. But you can show them the world, bro.
They need to know how to fight both sides.
They need to know how to fight both sides. But the first thing they got to do is know that they can rely on you for valuable guidance.
Exactly.
Guidance that matter. You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of old niggas, man.
Turn their back on him.
They ain't got nothing
just
to
ain't
teach
got no good shit to give them.
They ain't got nothing to teach.
Well, that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
and then a lot of the old niggas, they give old niggas a try, and then niggas a try 'em. You know what I'm saying? With all them old school junk ass little games they run. You feel me? Because you know he knew. You have to let him know that, hey man, listen, just because he old don't mean this or that. You know, like I learned I got. This I learned how not to get got no more. You know what I'm saying? We came out the porch, I'm look green. So yeah, he got me.
Yeah.
But see there, you get them one time, nigga, they cutting off the whole generation, nigga. Fuck all you. I got one old nigga got me over there, the little cornerstone such and such, nigga. Fuck all y'all. So you got to know that, hey man, you gonna go through that. That's part of the learning process. But I want you to understand that you got places to go to get valuable help, bro. Valuable assistance.
Yeah.
But you know how when the
With no strings attached.
Yeah.
you know how when the fair come or like Funk Fest, certain events, they'll come to our communities. We don't know who over these events, who making the money over these events, bro. And we'll flood them. But Julian, like how 1887 first had a farmer's market. In my mind frame, bro, in my opinion, man, that thing supposed to be shoulder to shoulder.
It's headed that way.
Every first Saturday,
I
bro.
see it going in that
And
You got to give it time.
it's supposed to be people walking out. Like, I love what I saw this last one I went to. I seen people walking with watermelons on their shoulders.
Yeah.
I seen people walking with all kind of fruit.
Yeah, shout out to Julian 1887.
Yeah.
Man.
And I love the way I seen like the aunties and grandmas out there line dancing and fans and
I believe it's headed that way though.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you have to get supportive. Consistency bring about.
The supporters is the youngsters.
But that's what's gonna bring about.
we-
But hold on, that's what's gonna teach how we can really get back to Black Wall Street. That the dollars. Look how many times the dollars stay in the community at that event.
Yeah, it ain't leaving. It's
Well,
going from
shit,
one hand, my hand to their hand.
In the black community, our shit rotate. We go bankrupt every Friday.
Ooh, that was a good one. All right, you have just completed part 2 of a 3-part series. Tune in next week for the Y'all Wanna Argue podcast. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend. See y'all next week.